Welcome everybody to Sin City Living. My name is Jason and I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. We have a ton of content for you guys coming out every single week, every single day generally. Occasionally miss a day like I did during the rodeo that is still ongoing right now. And I hope all of our patrons out there are appreciating the patron-only exclusive videos we're putting out with the dice class, putting one out every couple of weeks. And if you're curious about that, go ahead and check the description down below. Once I get this whole live stream thing figured out, I'm probably going to do a live stream on the patron site as well. One on the regular site, one on the patron site. I do have the new computer for it. Theoretically, I have everything ready. I'm just so busy currently with this rodeo. And one of our fans asked a question a little while back about ways to tip us, to show appreciation to us without having to sign up as one of our patrons. And at the time we did not have any way of doing it, but I have managed now to get us signed up with a site called Buy Me a Coffee. As I'm sure some of you guys have noticed from some of our videos, Louie and I are both pretty heavy coffee drinkers. So if you're curious about that as well, go ahead and check down below in the description as well. We would definitely appreciate any cups of coffee you're willing to pick up for us. And don't forget to email us with any strategies, questions, suggestions, anything at all. We love shooting those videos for you guys. I actually haven't gotten a new email in about 2 weeks. And also, don't forget, anybody that may be interested in one of the small Sin City Living neons that we have, just email us that as well, sincitylivingLV@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's episode. Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. For today's video, I'm going to be answering an fan submitted email with a bunch of questions for us. I do want to thank everybody for sending in the emails that you've been sending in. We love shooting these. It's nice to see a trickle of emails starting to come in again. It's been a while. Also want to thank everybody that has bought me a cup of coffee. I live off coffee, nicotine, and some of my old airborne spites, so it's very, very appreciated. I'm hoping next week to be able to start featuring some of the coffees that I buy when I can, and just as a sign of appreciation. And otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get right into today's video. Today's video comes from Tio, and this is actually a video that I never really thought I was going to shoot, but since somebody has actually emailed me asking some of these questions, I figure I might as well go ahead and do this. And basically, this is an email that is asking about me, asking some fairly pointed questions, I suppose, about me and who I am, how I got into this. So here we go. So question number one, why did I choose to be a physics major? Not sure when that came out. Must have been one of the crossfires. And that's actually goes all the way back to the 3rd grade for those that may be interested in that. In the 3rd grade, we had to do a science project, and I read something about black holes and was utterly fascinated and ended up doing a 3rd grade science project on black holes, and said even then that that's what I wanted to major in. And my father actually went and found out what that major was and let me know. And from the 3rd grade on, that was my plan. I think I was in the 5th grade the first time I read Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. By the 8th grade, I'd read all of Stephen Hawking's books, some of Leonard Suskind's books. Although the Black Hole Wars I didn't read until later on. So I was always into physics and also into computers, which I know sounds weird since I've been having these issues with getting the live streaming going. But when I double majored in astrophysics and computer programming, that was a long time ago. Technology moves on, and I am way too busy to keep up with all that. Question number 2, what jobs did I have after college and prior to being a craps dealer? It really boils down to just 2 jobs, actually. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division. I was a infantryman with the 82nd Airborne Division. I did a couple other things while I was in. Basically, I was a paratrooper. And after that, I was actually a bartender, and then eventually a restaurant manager, and then eventually a restaurant general manager and district manager. So I was I guess you call it middle manager, even district manager. I think we're still considered middle manager, maybe upper level middle manager. But as general manager, I was usually in charge of multi-million-dollar restaurants, and as district manager, I usually had 3 to 5 of those. And as far as why I stopped doing it, that goes into the next question. Next question: why or how did craps dealing become my job? Well, when I left not my last restaurant, but 2 restaurants prior to that. When I left that restaurant, I was living in Los Angeles. It was super, super, super expensive. So I decided that I knew I'd always wanted to move out to Vegas. I came out here all the time, had always planned on coming to Vegas. My family was planning on retiring here, so we all planned on coming to Vegas. So I figured, you know what, this is a good time. You know, I've got a little bit of money set up, and I had some help from my family, so I've got a little bit of a safety net. This is the time. Restaurant general managers and district managers are always in high demand, so I knew I could find a job. So moved out to Las Vegas, started working as a general manager, and was not a fan of the company, and decided to leave after honestly just a few months. And when I left them, I realized that a lot of the things I didn't like was just a lot of how the restaurant industry had changed, really shifted to a franchise model and a far different focus and way of running the business, and decided I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I needed to find a new career, and I figured that I would go into the casino industry, because I was in the casino capital of the world, basically. And as a hospitality professional for the last 15, 20 years, I figured my skills would translate really well. Wasn't worried about the math side of it, because again, physics major. Wasn't worried about the hard work, because again, Army. So I figured my skills would translate fairly well, and maybe I'd have a chance to move up. I actually did not realize quite how well it was going to work out for me, because the thing about the restaurants, as general manager and district manager, you have no time. Theoretically, we're supposed to work 50-hour weeks. We're always salaried, or almost always salaried. We're supposed to work 50-hour weeks. We get paid very well. I made stupid amounts of money as a GM and DM. But we're expected to work 50-hour weeks. So that's in the location. Outside of that, I would get between 20 to 50 emails a day and 4 or 5 phone calls a day in my off time. I went 3 years without ever being able to see a movie, because I couldn't go an hour and a half without something that I had to answer. 3 years single. And just had absolutely no time. 0 time. Absolutely no time. In the restaurant industry, I work my 8 hours and I go home. Nobody bothers me. Yes, I make a little bit less money, but I more than make a comfortable living. I have a beautiful house, and I now have a beautiful wife, and a great son, and a lovely puppy. And we've got our cars. We can support ourselves. We have a life. And we have our time. We have our time off. So it ended up working out really well for me. How long have I been a craps dealer? Well, this is a question that I would have avoided for the most part, but I have been a craps dealer for a whopping 4 years. 4 years, I believe it is. And one thing that I've mentioned before is it usually takes 3 to 5 years for you just to become an okay craps dealer. And I am good. I'm good for what I do. Definitely in the upper percentile for how long I've been doing it. I'm a quick study. Again, I was a physics major, so the math was never an issue for me. I am a hospitality professional, so dealing with the customers was never really an issue for me. And because I was so used to spending 70, 80 hours a week working on things, I put in a lot of time at home continuing to work on my craft, which a lot of them didn't. So I rose through the ranks very, very, very quickly. I mean, I was the lead dice instructor, lead craps instructor for the best school out here in Vegas within a couple of years of beginning dealing, because I worked so hard. And I had some fantastic people that had taught me and helped me out along the way. The owner of the school, both owners of the school helped me out, and the previous teacher. So I did a lot of studying, did a lot of learning, a lot of practice, but I actually have not been dealing for all that long. Why did I become a craps YouTuber? Because basically because a friend of mine asked me to. We had been associated with another craps channel, and actually some of the videos I shot had been pretty popular, but they eventually got taken down when there was, I guess you'd call it a falling out between us, between Louie and I and some of the others. And don't get me wrong, they're great people, they're wonderful people. Just personalities don't always clash, and things just didn't work out. And after a couple of years, he asked me, hey, have you ever thought about starting a channel? And I really hadn't. And he's like, well, we should do that. So thinking about it for a while, we decided, well, why not? It was right after the pandemic, and I had actually gotten a little bit lucky. When we locked down, when Nevada shut down all the casinos, and we basically went unemployed, I took some spare money that I had, and I sank it into casino stocks. Because stocks like, say, MGM and such like that went from $35 a share for the previous couple of years down to $5 a share. So I sank not a ton of money. I again, family, kid, wife, house. I don't have a lot of money I can just throw out there, but I had a little bit of spare money. So I put a few $100s into some casino stocks. And 8 months later, when Louie asked me about this, those stocks had actually turned into a few $1,000s. With a little bit of research, it turned out that buying the initial starting equipment that I would need to start this channel was a few $1,000s, plus some. But Louie also had some spare money, so it just kind of worked out. He asked me to. It made sense. It seemed like fun because we just really enjoyed this stuff. We love handling the chips. We love showing this stuff. We love talking about it. And we know that we do it slightly different than the other channels. Not better or worse, just different. So we figured we had something different that we could offer you guys. So we went ahead and bought all the equipment and started it going. Am I still a dealer, a box, or something else? So this is also a subject that I have actually stayed away from. One thing that has popped up a few times as people ask where I work and where Louie works and where Amy works is that we've been very, very, very careful to always keep the channel and where we work separate. I have been recognized at work a few times, as have the others, I'm sure. And once or twice, people have even said something to me about the channel, and I'm more than happy. Oh, yeah, hey, that's me. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. And then I immediately move on because I keep them very, very separate. I'm not at work to plug my YouTube channel. I'm not on the channel to plug where I work. It's a very bad idea. So I keep things very, very, very separate. We tried to keep the rest of our lives outside the channel very, very private. But since somebody's asked, no, I am not a dealer any longer. I stopped being a dealer just over a month ago when I got promoted. Now I'm a box. So I'm still on the table 8 hours a day, every single day. So the next question, do I still like dealing after all this time? Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. It is a blast. I am not going to say that there are not times where I'm tired, I'm cranky, something's happened where I'm just kind of moody. That happens. Or, maybe I've just had the last 2 hours where I've had, 7 players on my side that are just horrifying. And it's just brought me down. But I do my best not to. And do I still enjoy dealing? Absolutely. I cannot imagine me or Louie or Amy ever becoming those burnt out employees simply because it's not the only job I've ever had, or either one of them. So we have things to compare it to. A lot of those burnt out dealers started dealing when they were 21. Maybe they quit college or they worked a couple little nothings for a little while and then went to dealing school, and they really have nothing to compare it to. Dealing is hands down the easiest job I've ever had for the money that I make. It's insane. It's so easy. When I compare it to the military, when I compare it to restaurant manager, that many years comes up, lands in the top 3, between 1, 2, or 3 as the most stressful job in the United States, right up there with cab drivers and police officers and firefighters. Dealing is simple. It really is. And these people that drive some of these dealers nuts, some of them are kind of annoying, but this isn't hard. It's not a hard job. It really, 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 really isn't. What's the most 7s I've ever seen rolled in a row? Honestly, I do not know. I know I've seen at least 6 7s come in a row on a come-out roll. And that was part of about a 15-minute come-out roll because there were a whole bunch of 11s in there also, and some 2s, 3s, and 12s. It was a very long come-out roll. There's a come-out roll that was longer than what would be considered a fantastic roll if there was actually a point. But I'm sure there's been more than that. You guys got to remember, statistically, 2 7s in a row would be a 1 in 36 chance mathematically. 1 in 6 times 1 in 6. So 3 in a row would only be about 1 in 200 and change. I could probably do math real quick, but I'm not going to. 1 in 200 and change probability. 4 in a row, 1 in 1,300 or so, 1,400 odds. And then it's just 1 in 6, 7, 8,000 for 5 in a row. And you got to remember that we see tens of thousands of rolls all the time. So just about anything statistically unlikely we have seen, and we've seen just crazy stuff. What's the craziest thing I've seen in a craps table, such as someone jumping up on the table, things along those lines? It's hard to say because I between my restaurant time, my military time, and now my casino time, there's so many things that I'll see it and be like, well, that's different, and then it's just erased out of my brain because it's just not that big a deal to me. I've seen worse, I've seen crazier. It's just another day at the office kind of thing, and it just kind of fades away. There's some stories that are pretty funny. I've seen punches thrown at the table. I've definitely seen some weird things. But as far as this is absolutely craziest, I'd honestly have to think about that one for a little while, which I will do. And we may actually do a crossfire on it sometime with me, Louie, and Amy. And yeah. That is the last of Tio's questions. I will throw one last thing in there since I am kind of on the subject of me and what we were doing here. Apologies to everybody for not having the live streaming going yet, and also when people ask questions such as on the sound quality or the video, the borders, things along those lines. I want everyone to remember how deep we are in the hole as far as the money we spend on this channel just because we enjoy doing it. The fact that I work 40 hours a week, plus probably another 25, 30 taking care of my house, taking care of my household and my family, and then add another 20 hours a week that I spend just in filming the videos and the basic editing that I do, that I don't have a lot of time to go through and spend probably months learning professional grade audio editing or buying professional grade equipment or professional grade video editing or buying better equipment. It just becomes a time thing. A money thing too, but mostly it's a time thing, guys. I don't have the time. I love my family. I want to spend time with my family. I love doing this channel, but I love my family, guys. So between work and family, I did literally the bare minimum learning necessary in order to be able to functionally do this channel. So I apologize, guys, and I'm hoping to get better at it as time goes by, but it's going to be a very, very slow progression. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you very much, Tio, for the questions. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. So, as I promised, I wanted to go over very briefly our upcoming attempts at a third test live stream. So what's happened so far? The first test live stream just flat didn't work. The problem that I had was was an equipment problem. I had an equipment problem in that the equipment that I was using to translate the camera into streamable video to the computer required a better USB port than the computer I was using at the time. So that one just flat failed because it would not translate into the computer. The computer would not pick it up, would not read it, so I wasn't able to live stream it. So then, as I was looking through, because I'm a little bit of a tech head, as I was looking through all of my other stuff, because I do have 4 laptops here and 3 computers, I did find one that actually did have the newer style USB port. Unfortunately, it was actually my oldest laptop, but I figured, what the heck, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? And this time around, when I fired everything up, the video was actually translating onto the computer, so things were looking better. But then when I attempted to live stream, the computer was not powerful enough to be able to translate it and then upload it sufficiently. So it basically just uploaded a blank screen for the live stream. So what I am going to have to do is, and I'm already looking into all of my options, I'm going to upgrade my computer so I can add, what, a 7th, 8th computer to my household. And I'm going to go much, much higher, and I'm going to get a computer that is far more than I need for this, far, far, far more powerful than I need for this. That way any future upgrades that I may do, the computer will be able to handle it. So unfortunately this computer is going to cost me about 25% more, about 25% of what I've already laid out in all the equipment for this channel. So it wasn't something I could just instantly buy. I'm probably looking at Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So hopefully I have it within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do another test live stream and see if I can go from there. So I will definitely do at least one weekly live stream on our Patreon because they're the ones that are really helping us get this computer and the other equipment that I'm going to get, because I figure if I'm buying the computer, I might as well buy the most high-end capture cards and things along those lines, get everything as good as possible, and then hopefully eventually get a better microphone for you guys. So yeah, that's where we stand on the live stream. As soon as I have the computer and I do the test, which will be in a few weeks, like I said, got to order it in a week or two, then I have to wait for it to ship. Plus we have probably the biggest event of the year coming up, the NFR, National Finals Rodeo. So I'm basically working 2 weeks straight, as is my wife. So not going to have a whole lot of time. But once we get all that under control, then we'll figure out. There's been some schedule changes to myself, some schedule changes to my wife, and some upcoming schedule changes to my wife as well. So hopefully we can get all the scheduling figured out so I know when I'll be able to live stream as well. My initial plan of Thursdays at 6 o'clock is already out the window. I'm at work at that point now. So we will get it all figured out, and we will let you guys know, I promise. And otherwise, I hope you guys have found this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.